All right, today's lesson on the Bible show is the dietary law. Now, I think that I'll be trying to keep these kind of simple and basic lessons. Maybe later on we can get into some real deep stuff, but right now, it's kind of like basic lessons. You know, like the Sabbath day, the 10 Commandments, the fear of the Lord. I think, no, the terror of the Lord was the name of it. Now we got the dietary law. There was one more in there. I can't remember what it was. I'll go back and look at my notes. The dietary law. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The Lord has a dietary law. Foods you should eat and should not eat. It's written in the book, written in our Bible. No one really pays attention to it nowadays. And when you mention it, they're like, what? I'm not giving that up. Let's go through some of these and find out what the book says you should eat and should not eat.
Regarding the dietary law.
That's right. You know, before we get started, I wanted to mention, I'm knocking this thing down. That's Darwin, by the way.
You're about to knock it
That's Charles Darwin behind me. We're talking about the Bible show with the picture of Charles Darwin behind us.
That's the evolution guy.
Yeah. Okay. Last week I said
Big Bang Theory.
I don't think that was evolution. I think that's just a scientific thing. But he just had like the evolution.
Oh, if a dog is
Right. We started as like an amoeba.
Fish. And,
Right. Right. I'm an amoeba, then a fish, then I don't know, a mammal. My question is, okay, prove it. Show me. Don't just prove. Okay. Now, there's a difference with evolution and adaptation. The adaptation is where they found like these birds, given a particular environment, their beaks might grow. Now, that's adaptation to your environment, right? Show me where that bird turns into a cat, and then the cat into a goat, and then a goat into a monkey, and then a monkey to the man. Show me that.
Well, I could show you if I was on some purple haze.
And your argument will be, we can't really show it to you because it takes millions of years. Oh, so that means it's just a theory that you believe.
You don't see it, do you? I see it. Can't you see it?
Okay.
I need some Pink Floyd in the background.
All right. Last week, I gave the wrong address for the new House of Jacob location. The House of Jacob Bible study class moved from the west side to its new location at 2515 East 75th Street. I think I said West 75th Street.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. My bad. Making the correction.
Get it right.
And the dietary law, we're going to start.
I need some sound effects in here because I could have had like a whip.
So you got to learn how to work the board. Then you can play your sound effects. You load them in the
right?
thing, and then you choose them. But we need like a machine, though, right? You can't just kind of like hit the button. But anyway,
Right.
we're gonna all of the dietary law, all of the God's laws regarding what you can eat are in Leviticus, the book of Leviticus, chapter 11. And we're gonna read all the chapter. We're gonna try to read all of chapter 11.
Right, as much as possible. Thank you.
There are 47. I think it's 47 scriptures in chapter 11. I think it's 47.
Let's hop to it.
Man, I think I kind of broke it down. And it's also in Deuteronomy 8. Deuteronomy 8 is a little bit shorter. But we're going to go back and forth between both of them just to reiterate that God puts things in the Bible more than one time to make sure that you get it. You know, he says it more than once, so it's repeated. So don't miss it. Leviticus chapter 11, verse 1. This is going to be 1 through 8. This first section, 1 through 8, is regarding beasts, like your cattle. And then the next section is going to be, fish or things in the water. And then the last section is fowls. And there's one more section that's creeping things. I don't think you have to worry about me eating any creeping things. Even if they're written there, I'm hard pressed to try to eat some
what's that
locust or grasshopper.
Yeah, John the Baptist.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
There's a brother
Put some chocolate on top.
There's a brother we go to church with that says he eats what the grasshoppers, right?
Yes, he did.
I'm like, man. He's like, hey, good for it. I'm like, nah, man. Anyway, chapter 11, verses 1 through 8 out of the beasts. And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, these are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth. Whatsoever parteth the hoof and is cloven-footed and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that shall ye eat. So this got to have like a cloven foot, like kind of like that. It's like, like a
not
two.
not like the horses. They have a whole one.
Not a hoof like a horse, not a
Right.
paw like
Right.
a dog's got a paw, a rabbit's got a paw, but a cow has got like a cloven foot, like a split hoof thing like that. You know, like Mr. Spot.
Right. I know.
I don't do that like that, Mr. Spot.
Oh, like that.
Yeah, the force be with you. No, that's not. That's the wrong one.
Yeah.
Not the force. What's
Not
Spock?
Star Wars, Dr. Spock.
Yeah, what is that? Live long and prosper. That's what it is. Yeah. All right. Whatsoever part of the hoof and is cloven footed and cheweth the cud. You've noticed the cow was always chewing. Cow was always chewing the cud, right?
Don't do it. Do it again.
No.
Oh, good.
Right. He's got a cud that the cow chews. It chews it and swallows it and chews.
Good. But your feet ain't. Your feet are not. What?
I'm not cloven footed. I mean, I can do this.
Yeah.
Don't eat me. And cheweth the cud among the beasts, that shall ye eat. Now here's the part that people don't like. Nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divide the hoof, as the camel. Camel chews the cud, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof. He is unclean unto you. So the camel chews the cud like a cow, chews the cud, but he doesn't have a cloven foot, so you can't eat him.
What is a cud? What are these?
It's like
weed.
it's
grass?
like I don't think it's weed or grass. It's like I don't know what a cud exactly is, but it's what the cow chews. It's something to do with their stomach. I think cows got like what, 4 stomachs or something.
4 chambers.
So it's something to do with their stomach. I don't know. But it chews a cud. It's always chewing. That's like seems like a deer or something chewing the cud. That's in here too, by the way. We'll get to it.
Is there actually something in
Yeah.
there that they're chewing on?
Yeah. It's a cud. Let me look up cud real quick from the
Thank you,
dictionary.
good. I'm like, what the heck? What are they eating?
It's
Is
a
it
cud.
good?
Cud. Chew the cud.
What is that?
Cud.
What's a cud?
The food that an animal such as the cow brings back up from its stomach
my
into its
God.
mouth to be chewed again.
Ew.
Full definition. Food brought up into the mouth by a ruminating animal from its rumen to be chewed again. Cut or quid. Quid is another one. Example, a cow chewing its cud.
That's gross.
You like steak?
That's like the baby's.
Didn't you have like some steak for lunch today? Chew the cud.
No, I wasn't chewing no cud, though. That's out.
Okay. Nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divide the hoof, as the camel. Camel chews the cud, but he doesn't have that divided hoof. He is unclean unto you. And the Coney, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof. I think a coney is like some kind of rabbit thing. You know what? You can look these up. Coney, I think it's kind of like a rabbit, but you can look it up, or some kind of little mammal. I don't know. He is unclean unto you. And the hare. Now I know a hare is like a rabbit. Hare, a hare, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof. He's got a paw. He is unclean unto you. And the swine. Now the swine doesn't chew the cud.
Bacon, your ribs, chips,
The pork chop,
your
ham sandwich.
chitlins,
uh,
pig. I used to love the pig ears.
the swine.
used to. I didn't care about the pig feet, but I used to love me some pig ears.
Man,
And some chitlins.
I just like pork
Ooh.
chop. We used to eat pork chop, ham sandwich.
You know who pork chops I used to like the most?
Who?
I was gonna say the other one. Maxwell. I have to be careful. Maxwell Street.
The Maxwell Street pork sandwich,
Oh my
pork
God.
chop sandwich.
Yes, with the cheese. Oh, that used to be off the chain.
Hot dogs.
And the onions on it too. Oh yes.
I never got the pork chop sandwiches. You get like the hot dog. I used to get like a pork hot dog,
Oh yeah.
sausage pizza,
Yeah.
pepperoni
that's right,
pizza.
That's right. The sausage pizza with the sausage. Breakfast sausages.
Yeah.
I never had no. Well, that's cow's tongue. Okay, that's a different story.
Nah. I used to eat liver too, but that's not pig liver.
Yeah.
I'm talking about cow liver. But okay, and the swine, though he divide the hoof, so the swine's got the hoof. He divide the hoof and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud. He is unclean unto you. You're not supposed to be eating any swine, any pig, any hog, none of it. No bacon bits, no bacon flavored ice cream. You know they got that right.
And you're not gonna miss it.
Nah, you're not gonna
You're
miss
not
it.
gonna miss that stuff at all.
No
So now
sausage
they got
pizza,
so
no
much other
pepperoni
meat
pizza.
that pretty much takes the place of like turkey bacon. It's really good. I love turkey bacon.
You know, they're going away from meat altogether. They got like
I know there's
the
a lot of
impossible meat.
people, which I'm scared of. Remember that one that look, you guys listen very closely. Me and my husband Jeff, we was watching a movie, and I'm not trying to get away from the, not to try to get away from the show, but let me tell you this quick little story. Since we on this, we were watching. Remember that it was a black and white movie, right? Yeah, it was black and white.
I don't know which movie.
The one where the people were when they died, that there was no graves.
Oh, was that like Soylent Green?
And they were like, what are we eating if ain't no livestock around and people dying, ain't no graves.
What I remember way back, Charlton Heston made a movie Soylent Green, and
man.
Soylent Green was supposed to be the people. I don't know if that was it.
Don't you remember?
A black and white movie where there was no graves.
Well, you were okay. So you listen to the plot.
The Book of Eli.
No.
Yeah.
Remember the plot that it was like oh gosh, there was no graves, graveside when people died. Remember it was a machine or something, and it'd put the people in when they did, and that's how they was making their food off of it, off of other people.
The only thing I can think of is Soylent Green.
That might be it.
Soylent Green. Charlton Heston. It was the same guy that played Moses. Charlton Heston. Same guy that was like the spokesman for the NRA, the rifle.
So anyway, that's what this. Then you said, oh, what's the name of that so-called meat?
Oh, Impossible Meat.
This just made me think of that movie.
Yeah, but you read the ingredients on the label. It's supposed to be like all vegetables. I don't want to buy anything that's chemically made.
And look, it's another thing. So they were sitting around eating it, and then there was somebody's like really, it like dawned on them like, where the people going when they die? Where they go? Because one of their friends had died. That's what it got killed or died. One of their friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, well, where's his grave?
I don't remember this movie. Was I asleep?
You was right there with me. Oh,
the only thing I could think of that it was Soylent Green. Okay, you know, we'll look it up next week. We can bring it back next week.
We definitely got to bring it back next week.
All right, so Leviticus 11. What? Oh, this is my cousin. Oh, hey, Pam. Hey, what's up? Hello to my cousin Pam out there. Nice for you to listen to the show and send a comment. Thank you very much. And the swine. Okay, Leviticus 11, chapter 11, verse 7. And the swine, though he divideth the hoof and be cloven for the yet he cheweth the cud, he cheweth not the cud. He is unclean to you. Of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcass shall ye not touch. They are unclean to you. No swine, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to be Christ-like, you call yourself a Christian, stop eating swine. Stop eating it.
It's not hard.
It's not hard. You'll be surprised. You know what though? When you stop,
matter of fact, I like beef ribs anyway. It's more meat on them.
You know, when you try to stop eating swine and you start reading the ingredients and stuff, there's a bunch of stuff that's got
when you look
some
up,
kind of swine in it.
Not only it is, but
toothpaste,
not only
gelatin products.
But not only that, when you do your research on the swine, and oh my God,
it's
crazy about the bacteria and the
germs. Yeah, that's true too.
The germs, E. coli, and it's just so much.
Yeah,
so much.
Yeah. Maybe God knows what He's talking about,
yes, He does. Oh, not let alone the blood pressure.
Yeah. There's a song. I don't want to plug anybody, but there's a song by this rapper Cam. It's from the way back. I'm an old guy, so hey. Cam's got a song. Stop eating the swine, but y'all don't hear me though. Something like that.
Yeah, he was trying to let everybody know back then.
All you gotta do is stop eating the swine, and everything will be fine. Okay, anyway. Of their flesh shall you not eat, and their carcass shall you not touch. They are unclean unto you. Verse 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters. Okay, now we're going to go to the waters. Now, these same things are in Deuteronomy 14. I was going to read Deuteronomy 14 too, go back and forth, but maybe that's too much.
I got something to tell y'all. I'm going to let him read the scripture about the waters because I do got something to tell y'all. And I can tell you because this had a lot to do with my cousin, one of my cousins. Well, go ahead.
Do your cousin know that you're talking about it?
Probably not.
Yeah. Send her an invite on the Facebook. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever hath fins and scales in the waters, fins and scales, in the seas and in the rivers, them shall ye eat. So if it's got fins and it's got scales, it's got to have both of them. I've seen some books, I think it might be the new King James version, it says fins or scales. It's fins and A-N-D scales. It's got to have both of them. Them shall ye eat, and all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you. They shall be even an abomination unto you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, but ye shall have their carcasses in abomination. Whatsoever hath no fins nor scales in the waters, that shall be an abomination unto you. Now, that's like 3 abominations in a row in 3 different verses here. God is saying, dude, if it don't have fins and scales, don't be trying to eat it. It's an abomination.
No turtle. I used to eat shrimps.
No shrimp.
Let me tell you guys. I used to eat shrimps and crab legs. Oh, I used to love me some crab legs, man. But the shrimps I used to eat from a younger. But see, like after I had my daughter, I became allergic to shrimps. I remember one time I was at work and I had just went to Lawrence Fishery.
Lawrence Fisheries.
Right. Got me some shrimp, some scrimp.
No ebonics, please.
Right. And so the way when I chewed it up and the way when I swallowed it, it came right back up the way I swallowed it. Real fast. I was like, what? I'm allergic to this. The first time I had lobster, time I ever tried lobster. Good thing I didn't swallow it because I'm chewing. I'm like, is my mouth supposed to feel like this? My gums started itching.
Yeah, allergic reaction, immediate allergic reaction.
Then my tongue, I was like, the date, it was like way back in 1990, actually, 1990. Oh, yeah, 1990. So the guy that took me on the date, he was like, let's say in 1990, anyway. So he was like, what's wrong? I was like, I don't know, but my mouth is itchy. my tongue is itchy. So he's like, oh no, you're allergic to it. I hurried up and spit it out at that moment.
Yeah.
And I wanted to try it for the first time. It looked good on TV.
There's a lot of people allergic to shellfish, though.
Yeah.
But I used to eat shrimp. Crab, lobster, used to all that. But after I started reading this, I'm like, what? I got to give up shrimp. But you know what? It's easy. You know what else I used to eat?
Catfish.
Yeah, catfish.
I used to love catfish because when I was younger, my mom and them used to always go fishing. So they'd come back home, bring fish, take care of the fish, clean it, whatever, and cook it. And then when I tried to eat the fish, I would always get choked off the bone. So my stepdad was like, no, get her some catfish because it had no bones really. So and it had worked for me. It had worked for me.
Yeah, catfish does not have any scales. If
No,
you didn't know, catfish doesn't have scales.
And since we own catfish, here's the story.
All right, this is the Ramonda Davis show.
No, this is the Hudson show.
This is what food not to eat on the Ramonda Davis show.
Whatever. Okay. So I'm not trying to take over your show and all.
Go ahead with your catfish story. That's it.
Let me make it quick.
Yeah.
So shark reminds me of catfish.
I know this story.
Shark, yeah.
I know this story.
So she was saying that she was eating some shark and stuff. I said, some shark? Girl, you're not supposed to be eating that. And then next thing you know, I get a call like 2 days later. Oh, my leg, my feet is swollen. I said, oh, that must be some good shark, huh?
Might be.
So you're not supposed to eat all that stuff.
You know what? And I think the Japanese have like a shark's fin soup. They catch the shark, cut the fins off, and it's supposed to be like I don't know, good for your metabolism or aphrodisiac or something. Shark's fin soup. I think it's a Japanese thing, I believe. Look it up.
After all that I told her, you're not supposed to eat that, and showed her the scripture.
I had alligator before.
So she's like, but I know, but it's so good. I'm like, yeah. Take you right on out of here.
I had alligator before.
I never had alligator.
It wasn't that bad. It tastes kind of like chicken. It's kind of more rubbery. Maybe it's the way they cooked it. I was in some bar, some sports bar.
I had frog legs. Frog legs pretty much taste like chicken. Yeah.
Wow.
I
I used to eat fried calamari. That's squid.
I never had that.
Fried calamari. That was good.
Yeah.
If it's done right, it's good. Fried calamari. It was good. Put some hot sauce on it or some kind of sauce, cocktail. Man, all this stuff is an abomination. You're not supposed to eat any of this.
Plus, like the crabs and the scrimps, those are really bottom ocean feeders.
Yeah.
And the catfish. The catfish is a
bottom feeder.
A bottom feeder.
Yeah,
they the ones that keep the ocean and the rivers clean.
Just like the swine eats anything. Well, yeah. There was something else about. You need to look this up too about like cockroaches being in not cockroaches, lobsters being in a cockroach family or something like that. That's just something I heard. I would say I would recommend looking it up.
What? You're right, because when you look at a lobster, and it looks like a big old roach.
Yeah,
that's
but
probably why I was like, the first time I'm eating it, I get allergic reaction.
Yeah, but two different kinds of.
It still like a big.
It looks just because they look like, doesn't mean in the same family.
Why'd you just say it?
Because I was just saying that it's just a rumor. You know what? We're not going to do rumors on this show. Okay.
Thank you.
No rumors. So forget that. Scrap that last one.
Keep it real.
Right. So whatsoever have no fins nor scales in the waters, that shall be an abomination to you. That was verse 12. Verse 13. And these are they which ye shall have an abomination among the fowls. That's like the birds. The fowls, they shall not be eaten. They are an abomination. Okay, these are the fowls, the birds, things that fly that you are not supposed to eat. The eagle. You know what the eagle is, right? Yeah. The ossifrage. I'm not sure what the ossifrage is. I'm thinking it's like in the ostrich family, but I'm not sure.
Maybe that's what they're trying to say.
The osprey, Ospray. The vulture, you know what a vulture is. And the kite, after his kind. I'm not sure what a kite is. Every raven after its kind. The owl, the nighthawk.
I would want to eat a raven anyway.
The owl, the nighthawk, the cuckow, Cuckow, the hawk after his kind, the little owl, the cormorant, the great owl, the swan.
All owls.
So no swan, no goose. The pelican.
Yeah, I remember I made me a goose dressing once.
Yeah.
It was good too.
No, the pelican, the Gier Eagle.
Duck.
No duck, because the swan family. The stork, the heron after her kind, the lapwing after the lapwing, and the bat. Can't eat no bat. Anybody out there eating bat?
Ew, no. It might. Well, you know what? It might be. Back up in the jungles or something. Like that.
People eat anything. There was a show where this guy, he would go all around and eat anything that they cook. I can't remember the dude's name, but he would eat anything that they made. I'm like, man, I ain't eating that. Nah, no way, man. But anyway, that takes care of the fowls. So.
Oh, I forgot. I used to eat the rabbit too.
Yeah.
Tastes like chicken.
He's got a paw. Rabbit got a paw.
Tastes like chicken.
I never got into like the rabbit. Give me a hamburger, man. No, this is made out of beef.
How do you know?
I hope it's made out of beef. So in these files, don't mention no chicken. You can eat some chicken. Turkey, you can eat turkey. It's not in here. Right. The foods that I think that most of the foul foods that are here, we probably basically eating. I don't see anybody eating. Well, maybe like goose and duck are listed in here, but
goose I know for sure is very
greasy.
Oily,
yeah, it's greasy, but goose is delicious. I've had goose. Duck is delicious. I had it before.
Good. Yeah, I had quail. Quail, they so little, tiny.
But you can eat quail. You can eat quail.
Yeah. Quail is so good.
You know what? You know what fits this? A pigeon. Yeah. You can eat a pigeon.
I wouldn't want to.
Nah, I wouldn't eat no pigeon either.
Not no city one.
Yeah, come out to the country and go down to Mississippi in the country and get a pigeon. I won't eat no Chicago pigeon.
No way. No city.
You know what I was going to mention? Duck. I don't know about dove. I don't know if that fits one of these.
To eat.
I know. I don't know if it fits any of these. You need to look up what these things are. Ossifrage, Ospray, Glede. That's in Deuteronomy, which is a Glede, Glede. Comorant, Heron, Lapwing. I just know they're not chicken or turkey, so you're good if you stick with chicken or turkey. And we know we got all kinds of chicken and turkey recipes. And What are those capons?
Oh yeah, capons are really good. They are good.
Yeah. No duck, no goose. Sorry. No, I'm not sorry. That's what the books say. All right. Now we're still in Leviticus 11. So far, this whole show is Leviticus 11. There's some other things we're going to get to, but Leviticus 11, and we're going to go again with verse 20. All fowls that creep, going upon all fours, shall be an abomination unto you. Yet these may ye eat of every flying, creeping thing that goeth upon all four, which have legs above their feet, to leap with all upon the earth. Okay. So even these of them ye may eat. You can eat these things. The locust, after his kind. So John the Baptist. I don't have that in my scripture, but
it's a fowl, so that's a creepy thing.
That's a creepy thing. It's a flying creepy. It's not a fowl. It's a flying creeping thing because it's
And they could walk on all. It has wings.
It has
4 legs.
The legs above their feet. Like
That's creepy within itself.
Like a grasshopper's got like the boing. Yeah. John the Baptist ate wild locusts and honey. Even these you may eat: the locust after his kind, and the ball locust after his kind, and the beetle after his kind. You can eat a beetle. And the grasshopper after his kind. Like I mentioned before, as a brother, we know he goes to our church, eats the grasshopper. Says it's good. I don't want to try it. Verse 23, but all other flying, creeping things which have 4 feet shall be an abomination unto you. And for these ye shall be unclean. Whosoever touches the carcass of them shall be unclean until even. That means until at nighttime. The carcasses of every beast which divideth the hoof and is not cloven-footed, nor cheweth the cud, are unclean unto you. Every one that touches them shall be unclean. And whatsoever goeth upon his paws, a dog, a cat, a rabbit, has paws, among all manner of beasts that go on all 4, these are unclean unto you. Whoso toucheth their carcass, that means their dead body, shall be unclean until even. 28. And he that beareth the carcass of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the even. They are unclean unto you. How many times does the Lord have to say this? You said unclean, abomination, unclean, abomination. These also shall be unclean unto you among the creeping things that creep upon the earth. The weasel. That's like a little. People get pet weasels now.
Squirrel family.
I think it is. It's got like
and a ferret.
It's like a ferret. Do people have like pet weasels? They got pet ferrets, right?
Yep, pet ferrets.
My
nephew had a pet ferret.
It's still a wild animal. I'm not getting no ferret.
Yeah.
Nah, okay. And the mouse. People got pet mice, but you can't eat them. But people eat mice. You can turn on to like these shows that show foods in the world, something that people that eat mice.
PBS or I know it's PBS. PBS shows a lot.
Man, people eat mice. You never know, right? The tortoise.
WTTW.
Yeah. And the mouse and the tortoise, which is the turtle after his kind, and the ferret, that's in here, and the chameleon, like a little color changing lizard.
I would want to eat that. I feel like I'm going to change. You can't see me.
Like eat a chameleon and then go hide.
Right.
They go into camouflage or what?
I'm going to camouflage, exactly.
Yeah. And the lizard.
My genes gonna change.
Invisible man. The lizard.
Genetic makeup.
And the snail. Can't eat a snail. The mole. MOLE. Who want to eat a mole, man? Ah, man.
Well, you know what? There might be some tribes out there that probably do.
Yeah.
You never know.
These are unclean to you among all that creep. Whosoever doth touch them, when they be dead, shall be unclean until the even. That means when they're dead, their dead carcass is like their dead body. So not even supposed to touch them. And upon whatsoever any of them, when they are dead, doth fall, it shall be unclean. Whether it be any vessel of wood. So if it's a dead weasel falls on some wood, that wood's unclean. Whatsoever vessel be where any work is done, it must be put in water. That means you got to clean it. and it shall be unclean until the evening. So you got to clean it out, and it won't be clean until the evening. So it shall be cleansed. And every earthen vessel whereinto any of them falleth, whatsoever is in it shall be unclean. So if you got like some Kool-Aid in your cup and a squirrel fall in your cup,
I wouldn't want that cup anyway. So like, I guess you wanted my Kool-Aid real bad, huh?
okay, that means you got to throw out the Kool-Aid, you got to wash your cup, and the cup won't be clean.
You kidding me?
Let that squirrel fall in your cup.
That must be some good Kool-Aid if you want to drink that again or even keep that.
It should be unclean, and ye shall break it. So, you know what? It says you shall break it, so you got to throw it away.
Yeah, I hope so.
And every earthen vessel, like earthen vessel is like something made out of clay. Not like glass or wood, but like a clay vessel. I don't know why clay, but every earthen vessel whereunto any of them falleth, whatsoever is in it shall be unclean, and ye shall break it. So you got to throw away that clay vessel. Of all meat which may be eaten, that on which such water cometh shall be unclean. So if you like, if you got like some squirrel meat, right, and the water that you cleaning the squirrel meat with, if some of it splash on the plate, that plate's unclean. And all drink that may be drunk, and every such vessel shall be unclean. So the clay vessel that you're supposed to break up, if whatever you put in, everything that touches after that is unclean. You got to throw it away. And everything whereupon any part of their carcass falleth shall be unclean, whether it be the oven, so if you cook it in your oven, or the ranges, and for pots, you boil it in a stew. They shall be broken down, for they are unclean, and shall be unclean unto you. Nevertheless, a fountain or pit wherein there is plenty of water shall be clean. But that which toucheth their carcass shall be unclean. So you have whatever that thing. So when you cook a pork chop, you make the pot unclean. You make the spoons and utensils that you use that touches is unclean. The stove that you fry it on is unclean. The oven that you bake it in is unclean. You got to clean it out.
And most importantly,
you eat it yourself. The plate that you put it on, unclean. When you go to the store and you buy it in package, when they got like they're doing the deli meat and they slice up the ham, they put on their hand, it's unclean.
Because that saw or knife or whatever
that's
that they're
right.
using. You think you're going you are going in to get some turkey, but you don't know where that saw had been before you.
They're using the saw.
Turkey.
That's right. They're using the same saw for all the meat. Before
that wanted some
ham.
Some ham, yeah.
So you use ham. You come behind them. I'll take the turkey. They put on the same saw. Yep. It's unclean. You can't eat any of that turkey. You got to tell. There's a brother we go to church with. He actually says when he goes to get deli meat, he says, "I want you to take that saw out and clean it." And they do.
Yeah. Or just try to get there early in the morning before, because they have to clean that stuff they're supposed to overnight.
He said one time that he asked them to use the cheese one, because they do a separate one for the cheese, and they're like, "No,
cheese is unclean."
Yeah, some cheese is unclean. But he said, "No, they can't mix the meat saw with the cheese saw. They keep those two separate."
Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
That's cross contamination.
Yeah. So just think about it. This is all the stuff. The world that we live in now, I can only I've been some places, but just going by the United States, all the stuff in the United States where they got pork and ham and this, which is unclean according to, but if you're trying to keep this, you got a little work to do because it's difficult. You got to read the ingredients, you got to watch what you do. And everybody makes mistakes here and there. We'll read a scripture a little bit later on about, okay, well, we'll read it. You make your own determination. Well, I'll try to explain it, but okay. 37. And if any part of their carcass fall upon any sowing seed, which is to be sown, it shall be unclean. Now, this is basically saying anything that is unclean touches is going to be unclean. You got to wash it and clean it, and it won't be clean until that evening. That's basically what it's saying. Okay. Verse 40. And he that eateth of the carcass of it shall wash his clothes and be unclean until even. He also that beareth the carcass of it shall wash his clothes and be unclean until even. That means if you eat it, you're unclean. If you carry it, you're unclean. And every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth shall be an abomination. It shall not be eaten.
What about coats, like pig skin coats? I wonder about that.
Well, what kind of coat did John the Baptist have? Camel hair.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because camel is unclean.
Yeah, the camel was unclean. Not supposed to eat it. But after it's dead, it's not a camel anymore. I guess you can take his skin. That's a good question.
Good question. So it's just based on eating.
Yeah, but they play football.
Consumption.
They play football with a pigskin football, right?
Yeah, that's way after John.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
okay, so it's based on the consumption.
It's like it said carcass, the dead carcass. So somebody handled it and cleaned it up, and then now it's just the skin.
Right.
Maybe you can make clothing products out of it. But
then when you put your coat on, you're still touching it.
Yeah. Well, you're not touching the carcass anymore. You're touching
that skin. Because my beige, my real heavy beige coat is like furry inside, but on the outside, that material is it's like a suede, but it's not suede. It's actually pigskin.
Yeah, the pigskin coat. Really?
I had no idea. I took it to the cleaners one time because all that time I thought it was suede, and then the lady at the cleaners told me, "No, this is pigskin." Wow.
Is there a label on it?
I think there is now because
really?
I never paid attention to it.
Wow. I don't know. Well, it does say maybe we will read that chapter about John the Baptist because I think he had a camel hair coat. Let's finish this though. We're on 43. No, we're on 42. Going on 42. Whatsoever goeth upon the belly, that's like your snake, right? And whatsoever goeth upon all four, or whatsoever hath more feet among all creeping things, like a caterpillar, things that creep upon the earth, them ye shall not eat, for they are an abomination of the abomination. Ye shall not make yourselves abominable with any creeping thing that creepeth, neither shall ye make yourselves unclean with them, that ye should be defiled thereby. For I am the Lord your God. Ye shall therefore sanctify yourselves, and ye shall be holy. So keeping these dietary law is what will make you holy. You ever notice when I don't know if you have seen pastors or heard pastors say, yeah, you got to be holy like the Lord, but they never tell you how. Well, every time the Lord gives you instruction, it says, be ye holy, for I am the Lord and holy. Do this. Keep the dietary law to try to be holy.
We did commandments last week, but also, keep the commandments.
Right. And be ye holy, for I am the Lord your God. Ye shall therefore sanctify yourselves, and ye shall be holy, for I am holy. Neither shall ye defile yourselves with any matter of creepy thing that creepeth upon the earth. 45. For I am the Lord that bringeth you up out of the land of Egypt. And he's talking to the Israelites. To be your God, ye shall therefore be holy, for I am holy. It's talking about the dietary law. Keep these dietary laws to be holy. This is the law of the beast, and of the fowl, and of every living creature that moveth in the waters, and of every creature that creepeth upon the earth, to make a difference between the unclean and the clean. If you're a follower of Christ and you call yourself a Christian, how do people know? How can you tell? What are you doing that's different than what the world is doing? Are you keeping the dietary law? That's one thing, and people will notice. The way you carry yourself and the way you talk and the way you act, people will notice. And that's what makes you holy. The things that you do, you're following what the books say. That's what makes it. If you don't keep these, then what makes you any different? What's different about you? Everyone can be a Christian then, right?
Maybe.
To make a difference between the unclean and the clean, and between the beast that may be eaten and the beast that may not be eaten. Now that was Leviticus chapter 11, 1 through 47. I think I kind of skipped through some of them, but you get the gist of it. You can go back and read it yourself. You can also go to Deuteronomy 14. It's got the same things in there. I think it's a little shorter chapter. It's got got a bunch of lists of different animals in there too that you can and or cannot eat. Take a look at it and find out what you can or cannot eat. What? Axe. What about axe?
We should move to it.
Oh, as we're going to Acts, the book of Acts. And now in the book of Acts, chapter 10 is where a lot of people try to use the scripture here to say, see, Peter had this vision. Peter had all these foods come down and God told him to eat it, so it was okay to eat. That is not what this chapter is about. Peter did have a vision that all these foods came down, but he did not eat any of them. Let's go to Acts chapter 10, and we'll start at verse 1. This is a long one, too. This is 1 through 28. We'll be at the end of the show. Acts chapter 10. Maybe I can skip through some of these and get to the main parts. We'll start at verse 1, just to get the gist of what this is about. Acts chapter 10, verse 1, and 1 through 8, real quick. There was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius, a centurion of the band called the Italian band. So this man was not, he wasn't an Israelite. He was a Roman or an Italian. The Italian band is a Gentile, a devout man, and one that feared God with all his house, which gave much alms to the people. And he helped the people out and prayed to God always. He saw a vision, evidently about the 9th hour of the day. That's around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. An angel of God coming into him and saying unto him, Cornelius. And when he looked on him, he was afraid and said, What is it, Lord? And he said unto him, Thy prayers and thine alms are come up for a memorial before God. And now send men to Joppa and call for one Simon, whose surname is Peter. So the angel came down, appeared before Cornelius, told Cornelius, you're trying to be a man of God. You need to learn how to do this. Go find Simon Peter. Now, how come the angel just didn't teach him how to tell him what to do right there? Angel's talking to him right there, right? But no, he tells him to go find this Israelite and let that Israelite teach you, because God's got a protocol. He gave his word to Israel, and Israel has to teach everybody else. That's where you get the word from, the Israelites. So he told Peter, go find Peter, and Peter will tell you everything you need to know. All right. Verse 5, and now send men to Joppa and call for one Simon, whose surname is Peter. He lodges with one Simon, a tanner, whose house is by the seaside. He shall tell thee what thou oughtest to do. So Peter's going to tell him what to do. And when the angel which spake unto Cornelius was departed, he called 2 of his household servants and a devout soldier of them that waited on him continually. And when he had declared all these things unto them, he sent them to Joppa. So Cornelius says, okay, go to Joppa, find Cornelius. On the morrow, as they went on their journey and drew nigh into the city, Peter went upon the housetop to pray about the 6th hour. Now, 6 hours is like around noon. It's around lunchtime, right? So Peter goes up on the rooftop around noon, and he became very hungry and would have eaten, but while they made ready, they were preparing the food, he fell into a trance. Now, Peter's in a trance, and he saw heaven open. Now, Peter's in a trance, he sees heaven open, and a certain vessel descending unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the 4 corners and let down to the earth, wherein were all manner of 4-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air. And there came a voice to him, Rise, Peter, kill and eat. Now, this is a voice from heaven telling Peter to eat this vessel that came down with all these abominable foods, right? Foods that you just read in the dietary law you're not supposed to eat. But Peter said, now this is Peter in Acts, after Jesus had already came and was killed. In the New Testament, Peter said, Not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. So this says Peter has never eaten any of these unclean food. Peter is a follower of Christ. He's an Israelite. He's trying to keep the dietary law. And he has kept the dietary law, according to what he said right here. I have never, and he's telling the Lord, he's like, are you really the Lord? Because I'm not eating anything that's common or unclean. Right? And the verse 15, and the voice spake unto him again the second time and said, the second time, what God hath cleansed, that call not thou common. This was done thrice, and the vessel was received up again into heaven. Now, did Peter kill and eat anything? Does this say that Peter killed and ate anything here? It says he was in a trance. He said he was hungry, waiting on lunch. This thing comes down from heaven with all these animals on it, and the animals were alive because it says kill, so he had to kill it and eat it. Did he kill anything, or did he eat anything right here? No, he did not. This was done thrice, and the vessel was received up again into heaven. Now remember, the voice spake unto him, what God hath cleansed, that call not thou common. Now there was a law, and we'll read this a little bit later too, that the Israelites were not to go amongst any other people to teach, to give the word to. It was only for the lost sheep of Israel, for the Israelites. That's why Peter, well, we'll get to it. Now, while Peter doubted in himself what this vision which he had seen should mean, behold, the men which were sent from Cornelius had made inquiry for Simon's house and stood before the gate. So Peter's trying to figure out what the heck was this vision about this food showing up here. And then the doorbell, the men show up that Cornelius sent and called and asked whether Simon, which was surnamed Peter, was lodged there. While Peter thought on the vision, the Spirit said unto him, behold, 3 men seek thee. Arise, therefore, and get thee down and go with them, doubting nothing, for I have sent them. Then Peter went down to the men which were sent unto him from Cornelius and said, behold, I am he whom ye seek. What is the cause wherefore ye are come? And then they tell him, oh, so Cornelius sent us, he had the vision, come to Caesarea so you can teach us about the Christ, about the Christ and God, etc. And as Peter was coming in, okay, so Peter, we're going to skip down to verse 25. Peter goes with them back to Caesarea. And as Peter was coming in, Cornelius met him and fell down at his feet and worshiped him. But Peter took him up, saying, stand up, I myself also am a man. And as he talked with him, he went in and found many that were come together. So everyone's there. Now remember, Peter just saw a vision. He didn't kill or eat anything. He's keeping the dietary law. And he said unto them, ye know how it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one of another nation. So the Jews and the Israelites were not supposed to keep company with anyone that wasn't a Jew or Israelite. That was a law. And that's what that actually came from Jesus, really. And we'll read that too. But God have showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean. Now, what did Peter say when he saw the vessel? When the vessel came down and told him to kill and eat, he said, not so, Lord. I have never eaten anything common or unclean. What did the angel say? What God has cleansed, call not common or unclean. So this is talking about men. God has cleansed these Gentiles now, so they are no longer common or unclean. You can come and be compatible with them. You can keep company with them now. That's what this is about. It is not about eating any kind of food. So when they use this argument, go back and read the whole thing, and it'll tell you that this is not about food. This is about more than just Israel coming into the word of God. That's what it's about.
Nice.
All right.
Very well said.
I hope I summed it up pretty good.
Yeah, you did.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to move on to Matthew chapter 10. Matthew 10, verse 5. Matthew 10, verse, and this is where Jesus tells them, don't go into any other nation. Let's see. Matthew 10, verse 5. These 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, now this is before this is like a list of all of the 12 disciples. And these 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So Jesus said, don't go and keep company with these people. Stay with the lost sheep of Israel. Let's go to Matthew chapter 15. Matthew 15, verse 21. 15 and 21. Then Jesus went thence and departed into the coast of Tyre and Sidon. And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast and cried unto him, saying, have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with the devil. Now, this was not an Israelite either. This was a woman out of Canaan. She was a Canaanite woman who was a dark-skinned people, by the way. They're African. But he answered her not a word, and his disciples came and besought him, saying, send her away, for she crieth after us. 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So the Israelites were not keeping company with non-Israelites. That was the law they had, and Jesus just mentioned, backed it up right here. Not supposed to deal with them. He's trying to get this word out to Israel first. You got to clean up your own house first before you can go out and clean up anybody else's.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what this is doing. But then by the time Jesus was killed and the disciples were there, it's like, okay, now it's time to start giving this word out to the Gentiles. It's time to start giving this word out to everybody. And actually, if you read the Old Testament, you go back to the Old Testament, everybody that keeps this word is welcome anyway. Jesus came to get Israel straight and get them back to being obedient to the book, and then they can go out and teach everybody else. That's what he's really talking about. But actually, that woman, that Canaan woman, he did heal their daughter. So he did say it. The Samaritan woman that he went to, he told her about herself. He's not supposed to keep company, but he's having a conversation with her. Right? So it's not just for Israel, it's for everybody. If you want to follow. Colossians chapter 2. Now this is where people use this verse to say, see, I can eat anything I want. They'll be trying to judge me. Mm-hmm. Colossians 2. And we're going to go to verse 16. Colossians 2 and 16. Let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink or in respect of an holy day or of the new moon or of the Sabbath days. Now people use this and say, see, you can't be judging me on what I eat or what I drink. I can eat anything I want. Who are you to judge me? That's not what this is not talking about someone that's not keeping the dietary law. This is Paul writing a letter to the Colossians, the people that are trying to be Christ-like. He's saying, you're being Christ-like, so that means people are going to judge you of the meats that you refuse to eat and the drink that you refuse to drink and the holy days. This is a holy day, not holiday. The holy days that you keep. Why are you keeping those holy days? That's what it's talking. He's talking to them, not the people that go against them. Let's go back it up and read it. Go back to, let's start at verse 1. Verse 1. Let's find out what this is about. For I would, that this is Paul writing a letter to the Colossians. For I would that ye knew what great conflict I have for you, and for them at Laodicea, and for as many as have not seen my face in the flesh, that their hearts might be comforted, being knit together in love, and unto all riches of the full assurance of understanding, to the acknowledgement of the mystery of God and of the Father and of Christ, in whom are hid all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. And this I say, lest any man should beguile you with enticing words. So Paul is talking to the people that are trying to keep this word, and he's saying, look, stay in this word and don't let people that are not in this word come and beguile you and try to entice you out of it. Let's get down to verse 6. Verse 6. As ye have therefore received Christ Jesus the Lord, so walk ye in him. So he's like, look, walk in what the Lord is, walking with the Lord. You got this word, stay rooted in him. Verse 7, rooted and built up in him and established in the faith, as ye have been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit. So you're trying to keep this word, but some men or people are going to come and try to talk you out of it. He's like, no, beware of them. Don't let them spoil you, people trying to keep this word, through their philosophy and their vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ. See? Let's get down to verse 16. Verse 16. That's when he goes, let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink or in respect of an holy day or of the new moon or of the Sabbath. Make sense? See? So he's talking to the people that are trying to keep the word, not the people that's just doing anything they want to do. They ain't got no word in their head. They're trying to bring you down with them. Stay rooted in the word. Don't let them entice you into going out of it. That's what this is about. 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 5. A lot of people use this one too.
Like temptation to me too.
Yeah.
Don't let nobody entice you out of it. So you being tempted.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of temptation.
Yep, there is. All right. We're going to read one more, and then we're going to have to sign off, and we'll come back next week. All right, real quick. 1 Timothy chapter 4. People use this one too. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. Now, this is chapter 4, verse 1. Paul writing a letter to Timothy. And he's telling Timothy, look, hey, Tim, in the latter days, some shall depart from the faith. That are people that are in this word now, they're going to depart from it, and they're going to give heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron, forbidding to marry, and commanding to abstain from meats. So they're saying, see, you're reading that's a culture you're in, man. You're trying to say that I'm not supposed to eat any kind of meat. No, this is saying stay rooted in this word and don't. And in the latter days, people are going to come and say forbidding to eat certain meats. Now, what religious organization forbids to marry. Their representatives like you can't get married, and they are commanded to abstain from meats on a certain day. Like the Catholic Church says, you're not supposed to eat meat on Fridays, right? It was like for Lent or something.
Yeah.
All right, and if they're
Or choose something.
and their priests and pastors and nuns are forbidden to marry. This is in the latter days, and the book is pointing it out, which God has created to be received with thanksgiving. So it's not that you can't eat any meat. There's a dietary law that you're supposed to keep. That's what this is talking about. And in the latter days, people are going to come and try to twist it to make it what they want it to be, some man-made up stuff. That's not what this book is talking about.
What scripture is that?
This is 1 Timothy chapter 4, and that was verse 3. Forbidding to marry and commanding to abstain from meats, which God hath created to be received with thanksgiving. That's where it says, see, all you got to do is pray over it. Of them which believe and know the truth. For every creature of God is good and nothing to be refused. Okay, every creature of God is good, but that doesn't mean you're supposed to eat every creature. And poison ivy is good for something, right? You're going to go eat it? Right. Not to be refused, if it be received with thanksgiving. For it is sanctified by the word of God and prayer. So that's where they try to use this to say, see, I can eat anything I want as long as I pray over it. That's not what this is talking about. This is talking about this false doctrine that's going to come about in the latter days. That's what this is talking about. And you go to start with verse 1, it tells you, now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from this faith. That means they're going to twist this word into what they want it to be, giving heed to seducing spirits. And the seducing spirits are going to say what? Forbid to marry and command from eating meats. See?
Sorry.
A lot of people take Paul's writings and they twist it out of who knows what.
For their own glory.
Yep. Well, we ran out of time. I got like a few more scriptures to read.
You're supposed to say, woo, where all the time go?
Well, we hope you enjoyed the show.
Yeah, it was great.